Hello and welcome. Tonight, the World Bank and International Monetary Fund give thumbs up to Nigeria for containing the Ebola virus disease in the country. United States Ambassador promises more support for Nigeria's fight against Boko Haram. New governor of Adamawa State dissolves the State Executive Council, also sacks all political appointees. And United Kingdom investigates reports that death of Britain in Macedonia may be due to Ebola.
On business news, the Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says diversification is key to Nigeria's economic prosperity.
And on sports news tonight, President Goodluck Jonathan rewards Nigeria's outstanding athletes and sportsmen and women in 2014 with cash gifts.
Nigeria is proud tonight with the endorsement coming from the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund commending the federal government's ability to overcome the Ebola virus disease. The president of the World Bank, Jim Yong Kim, after a special meeting of the group and the IMF, said Nigeria has demonstrated high competence in the way the EVD was contained. He praised the federal, state and local government and medical personnel in the private sector for working together to contain the Ebola virus in the country. The meeting of the World Bank and the IMF, which held in Washington today, noted sadly that the virus continues to surge in the three worst affected countries, Liberia, Sierra Leone and Guinea. And if more countries get trapped in the spread within 2 years, the financial impact could reach $32.6 billion by the end of 2015. And back in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, it was a victorious moment for the country again, as the World Health Organization also endorsed Nigeria's effort in containing EVD. But beyond that, officials of the W.H.O. asked Nigeria to extend its expertise to countries like Liberia, Guinea and Sierra Leone to control the spread of EVD on the continent. Our correspondent Chukwuma Onekwusi reports.
Having contained Ebola in Nigeria, this meeting of medical professionals with the Minister of Health is convened to discuss research efforts towards the development of vaccines and treatment drugs for the disease. Minister of Health, Professor Onyebuchi urged the Ebola treatment research team, which is set up in August, to make Nigeria a reference point for developing vaccines and treatment for the Ebola virus.
This high-level meeting on EVD is certainly coming at the right time, and we have the resolve to explore all areas of research towards vaccine production and drug treatment of EVD. I'm also hopeful that the outcome of the deliberations here today lead to a clear roadmap for achieving success in treatment options for EVD.
While applauding the minister for the success made, country representative of the World Health Organization, Ruiz Vaz, asked Nigeria to support other countries still battling with the disease.
Let's continue to invest in our labs to be able to support not only these 36 plus one state, but also other countries in our sub-region. Let's use these centers of excellence to share and to train people from the country and from the sub-region in order for them to learn based on our experience, the rich experience that we have.
Meanwhile, Senate Committee Chairman on Health, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, emphasizes the need for a new legislature that will effectively help in curbing disease outbreaks in the future.
And the Senate instituted the public health legislation, and this has taken complete control of all borders of means of crossings, both the seaports, the airports and land crossings, and many more medical issues, including the international health regulations that are being incorporated into the Public Health Act. And that has passed through the first, second and third reading in the Senate. We're hoping that we'll get concurrence from the House of Rep.
With much emphasis on medical research initiatives and improved surveillance at entry points into the nation during this meeting, worries for further outbreaks among citizens can now be laid to rest.
Now, staying with the containment of EVD, the Minister of Health, Professor Onyebuchi, says although there are no new cases of Ebola in the country, Nigerians should always be on the alert and adhere strictly to the lessons learnt while fighting the EVD in Nigeria. The minister was addressing State House correspondents after giving the weekly updates to the Federal Executive Council meeting. Meanwhile, some concerned Nigerians have applauded the collaborative efforts displayed by various levels of government in dealing with the virus. Our correspondent, Chris Lems, reports.
The health minister looking a lot calm, unlike the Ebola days in Nigeria. But now Ebola is no more. Here he explains how the battle was won.
Presently, there's no single case of active Ebola viral disease in Nigeria. And there's no single contact that is presently under surveillance in any part of the country. Within the week, last week, we had a rumor of a case of Ebola viral disease in Abuja, but we had long investigated and debunked that rumor. That case was not Ebola viral disease, but a case of severe hypertension complicated by nose bleeding. Of course, once people see anybody bleeding from any orifice, there's suspect, and we don't mind. We are happy because it means we'll be able to pick a case as early as possible. But it also means that we have to be alert. Any case rumored that is reported to us, we immediately investigate. So we've debunked that. So Nigeria, as we speak, is totally clean.
And back here in Lagos, this group known as Nigerians for Change are at a press brief. At the core of the discussion is the victories scored by the country against the Ebola virus disease and lessons to be learned from it.
In recognition of our country's efforts in this regard, the World Health Organization and the United States Center for Disease Control have commended the Nigerian government for a job well done. According to President Goodluck Jonathan, it is not just one person or Mr. President or the governors or other officials. Yes, they did their work, but we defeated Ebola because all Nigerians agreed to fight the war against Ebola. That is the strength of unity.
While the world still trembles at the mention of the name Ebola, this group's leadership says there is much more to rid in the country of the plague.
We need to have this type of collaborative effort between government at different level and across party line so that there can be meaningful development.
They advocate that politics must not be played with the disease and also agitate that Nigerians must employ similar efforts at dealing with other challenges. Chris Lems, Channels Television News.
And from health, we move on to security. The U.S. Ambassador James Entwistle has been commenting on the activities of the terrorist group Boko Haram, saying they must have received formal training from individuals or groups with solid military background, given their mode of operations. At a World Press Conference at the American University of Nigeria in Yola, Adamawa State, Ambassador Entwistle said the U.S. will continue to support Nigeria's fight against terrorists by offering technical and security expertise. The Boko Haram sect has been attacking communities in Borno, Yobe and Adamawa states in campaigns which are being countered by the Nigerian military. In the meantime, the National Information Center has given Nigerians the assurance that the federal government is doing everything possible to end the war against terror. Addressing journalists today in Abuja, the coordinator of the center, Mr. Michael Mary, asked all Nigerians to join hands with the authorities to fight terrorism.
Of the ongoing exercise, military exercise, and the newly established intelligence sharing mechanism, Nigeria's military has executed successful military operations from active intelligence on Boko Haram positions and will continue to make these positive gains against the group with new aerial equipment provided with territorial coverage and increased response capability. At this point, we wish to commend all Nigeria's neighbors who have stood by the country in the fight against terrorism. We call on other countries not to make political capital and rubbish the image of Nigeria in its efforts in the fight against terror, but to have a rethink. As it is in Nigeria today, it could be the turn of another country tomorrow. Hence, the need for cooperation, collaboration, and support in whatever capacity. I want to assure you once again that the government of Nigeria, the armed forces of Nigeria, and all security apparatus and the structure of government and governance is determined to eradicate terrorism in any part of this country.
Now, enhancing the skills and knowledge of the officers and men of any armed forces is said to be critical to the success of that force. Well, this is the position of the Chief of Training and Operations of the Nigerian Navy, Rear Admiral Austin Oyaga, who was addressing journalists on the small firing arms exercise and competition of the Nigerian Navy. According to him, the exercise is meant to enhance the force's proficiency in the handling of weapons, especially in the face of current security challenges confronting the nation.
The small arms firing exercise, and indeed the competitions attached to it, are meant to enhance and sharpen personnel level of proficiency in handling weapons. This is even more relevant nowadays when we consider the country's present security challenges, especially in the Northeast. Thus, there is a compelling need to emphasize and reinforce small arms training and exercises in naval personnel by organizing this type of competition. I am sure you are aware that the Nigerian Navy is statutorily empowered to protect the nation's maritime boundary and territorial integrity. Besides, the Nigerian Navy also engages in joint operations through internal security with the sister services and other security agencies. In trouble spots in the country, it therefore becomes imperative to frequently engage officers and ratings in small arms exercises and competition. This will also prepare the personnel to achieve success without disproportionate use of force. As observed by the General MacArthur, and I quote, "In no other profession is the penalty of employing untrained personnel appalling or irrevocable."
In part two, after the break, the new governor of Adamawa State dissolves the State Executive Council. That's in a moment. Do join us again.